and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight by Jennifer E. Smith. I thought this would be a fun review to do since it is Valentine's Day and all. The story follows Hadley. She is on her way to her father's wedding. Her parents are divorced and her father's getting remarried in London, and so she's on her way there and she ends up getting to the airport late and missing her flight. And then because she missed her flight, she has to wait around for the next flight, obviously, and she ends up meeting this boy named Oliver, and it's all about the two of them traveling together to London and the things that happen from there. This is a book that I wasn't really itching to read. I had heard a lot of mixed things about this book, and based on the synopsis alone, I had a feeling I wasn't gonna like this book because I am not a fan of really romantic books usually. I could tell that this was gonna be kind of an insta-love type of situation. But then I saw it on Amazon for like $1.99 or something like that. They were doing one of their Kindle deals, and I decided to just pick it up and give it a try because no harm in trying. I read it really fast. It only took me like a day, which is why I feel like I didn't hate this book, because you go through it so fast it doesn't really feel like time wasted quite as much, even if it isn't necessarily a book that you fall in love with. And I have to say, I didn't completely hate this book the way I thought I was going to. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, and I think that might have been just because I went in with such low expectations. I didn't really like Hadley. I mean, I guess she's just a typical teenager. She's very bratty, and she doesn't understand why it's important for her to be at her father's wedding and things like that, and I'm like, it's your father, obviously he wants you to be there. I did find Oliver to be quite charming. He's very much the typical British charming YA character, so that at least is very nice, although it does seem like the characters in this book are really too perfect. I think one of the biggest flaws in this book is because it's so short, there is no real depth to it. I mean, the story only takes place over 24 hours, so you can't really expect a lot of depth from this book, but at the same time it just feels like you're getting a very rose-colored view of all of the characters in this book. Like, even when she goes to London and you meet her father and her soon-to-be stepmother, they even seem like such perfect people. Like, there was no real depth to them and it just felt very bland. There were so many situations that happened that did not seem realistic whatsoever. Like, there's this one point in the novel, and I'm sorry if you guys consider this a spoiler, but I will try to keep it as vague as possible. Basically, she gets to London and she ends up leaving to go find Oliver at one point, and I was reading that and I'm like, what parent would let their 16-year-old wander around a city that they've never been in before? She has no idea where she's even going. She doesn't explain to her dad where she's going except that she has to be somewhere, and he just lets her go. And I understand that he might have been distracted by the wedding, but that doesn't seem right. And there's just a lot of little things where it's just like, oh, this just happened to work out for the sake of the story. It just doesn't fit. I think if this was a story where I was expecting something from it, I definitely would have been more disappointed by it, but because I was expecting nothing and I did enjoy at least something, I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars when I may have only given it 2 out of 5 if I had different expectations going into it. This definitely isn't a very deep book, so don't expect deep things from it. It is very light, very fluffy. You just want a very simple, basic romantic comedy type of book, then this is good for you, but it is insta-love and it does feel very contrived. But I feel like you sort of have to walk into this book thinking that anyways, just based on the synopsis alone. So yeah, those are my thoughts on The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight. If you guys have read the book, feel free to leave your comments down below with whether or not you liked or disliked it. I know there's a lot of split opinions about this book. So yeah, that's all I have for now, and thanks for watching. But I feel like you sort of have to walk into this. Ugh.